So, the Indiana Fever just signed somebody. I'm kind of surprised the Indiana Fever signed somebody, like, today. So, they signed someone to a 7-day contract, which means, did they waive somebody? Did the Fever not have to waive somebody to do that? Which means somebody's probably getting waived.
The nightmare everyone feared but quietly saw coming has arrived. The Indiana Fever are openly shopping for Caitlin Clark insurance, and they're not even bothering to disguise it anymore. Let's be honest, Indiana clearly knows something the rest of us don't.
Point guard. And my brain goes two different ways on this. Either one, the Fever weren't so happy with Odyssey Sims' performance in her first game with the Indiana Fever. And I think a lot of fans were underwhelmed. However, Odyssey Sims had a high bar to clear because Ari McDonald, when she came to the Indiana Fever, she immediately made an impact and played great right away. Odyssey Sims did not have a great game in that last game whatsoever. And so are they signing her to challenge Odyssey Sims and see who plays better? Or are they signing her because they know that Caitlin Clark is not going to be returning this season and they're going to need another point guard for this last stretch of games and going into playoffs?
In just 1 week, Indiana has brought in not one, but 2 point guards. First came Odyssey Sims on a hardship contract, basketball's version of corporate code for we're in serious trouble. If that doesn't scream desperation, nothing will.
Into this, the Indiana Fever welcome Kyra Lambert to the team. Another point guard with Sydney out, with Ari out, with Caitlin Clark's return. Who the heck knows at this point? We need some point guards on this team. Odyssey Sims, she played this past Tuesday. Looked like she haven't picked up a basketball in months. Now we go out and get Kyra Lambert.
The nightmare we all feared but quietly expected has finally surfaced. The Indiana Fever aren't even hiding it anymore. They're shopping for Caitlin Clark replacements. First came Odyssey Sims on a hardship contract, which is basically basketball's corporate code for we're in serious trouble. Then, just days later, they signed Kyra Lambert to a 7-day deal. 2 point guards in a single week, 2 desperate moves, and one undeniable truth. Indiana is bracing for life without Caitlin Clark, and they don't expect her back anytime soon.
Has never played in the WNBA before, yet the Fever did have room to add another player on a hardship deal. So Lambert, it was announced by the team, has been brought in. This is what the press release itself says, so I'll let them set the context for you. The Indiana Fever have signed guard Kyra Lambert to a 7-day contract the team announced today. The Fever qualify for the roster spot due to the injuries to Sydney Colson and Ari McDonald. Lambert has spent the entirety of her professional career playing in Europe, most recently with Olympiacos, where she won the Greek A1 League. During that season, Lambert averaged 15.4 points per game while shooting 42.1% from beyond the arc.
If you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe. Now, here's the uncomfortable truth no one wants to say out loud. Caitlin Clark has already missed 21 games this season. 21. That's not a hiccup. That's a body sending warning signals she doesn't want to hear. From a quad strain on opening night, to a nagging left groin issue, and now a right groin injury, Clark has spent more time sidelined than starring. At this point, she's watching her own career like a spectator at its funeral.
Signed a player from overseas in shocking development. Now, they had no European players on the team, and looked like the Indiana Fever new player did speak to the media earlier today. We got some of that footage. Let's roll
this opportunity that'd be coming for you.
Officially Monday. Yeah, Monday. So it was a pretty quick turnaround.
Take me through the emotions of that day, knowing that this was coming your way and that you'd have a chance to play on a team that might need you to play right away.
Yeah. No, I was super excited. It's a blessing, having the journey that I've had and just, remaining faithful, trusting God and doing the work and just to see it all come back around and have this opportunity.
And here's the part that stings the most. Before this season, Caitlin Clark had never missed a single game in her college or pro career. Not once. She was basketball's Iron Woman, the kind of player you could set your watch to. Now, she's racking up injuries like they're trading cards, each one more alarming than the last. The official spin from Coach Stephanie White is, we're taking it day to day, putting no timetable on it. Translation, they have no clue when, or if, she'll be back at full strength. White even admitted Clark hasn't returned to practice yet, still stuck running full court like someone rehabbing from major surgery.
As Caitlin Clark fans, this is a nasty position to be in. We're dealing with the Indiana Fever telling us that Caitlin Clark is day to day And we know the Indiana Fevers, Amber Cox, Kelly Krauskopf, Stephanie White are all liars. We can't believe anything the Indiana Fevers say, and we know that. So we have the Fevers saying Caitlin Clark is dated.
Want to know how bad it really is? Let's look at the numbers, because they paint a story more brutal than any injury report. Since Clark went down, WNBA viewership has cratered, down 55%. The Fever's national TV ratings, off by 53%. Games that once drew 1.8 million viewers now struggle to crack 847,000. And the fallout doesn't stop there. Ticket prices for Fever Road games have collapsed, plunging anywhere from 47% to 71% depending on the opponent. That Chicago Sky matchup everyone circled as a marquee event. Seats dropped from $86 to $25 the moment Clark's injury hit the news. That's not a dip. It's a nosedive off a financial cliff.
Injury is tanking WNBA ticket prices. The star Indiana Fever guard suffered a quad injury and is expected to miss at least 2 weeks. This comes on the heels of the WNBA and other teams moving games into larger arenas to accommodate Caitlin's fans. And as sports fans, I think we all know that Caitlin Clark is the most popular women's basketball player. In fact, she might be one of the most popular female athletes in the entire world. Ever since she burst into the national consciousness, women's basketball has experienced a rise in popularity. But is it Caitlin? Or is it women's basketball? Per Front Office Sports, get-in tickets for the Fever's rivalry game against the Chicago Sky on June 7th are down 71% from $86 to $20.
Even the WNBA All-Star Game, held right in Clark's home market of Indianapolis, couldn't escape the fallout. Ratings plunged 35% without her. Sure, 2.19 million viewers is still a solid number, but it's a steep fall from the 3.44 million who tuned in when Clark suited up the year before. The league tried to spin it as the second most watched All-Star Game ever. But notice the trick. They compared it to 2023, not 2024. Why? Because the moment you admit the real comparison, you also admit the truth. This league lives and dies by one injured player.
35%. WNBA ratings down. All-Star Game 35% than last year. Yet you're telling me that it doesn't have to do with Caitlin. 35%. It really makes it difficult for fans of the WNBA in general and Caitlin Clark, like myself, to have conversations, to join a Discord, just to I don't know, want to just talk up the WNBA in general when you can't even give Caitlin the props that she deserves.
Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the referees, and the league's failure to protect their biggest star. All season, Clark has been the target of physical play so extreme it would make hardened NBA vets wince. She's been fouled 46 times, ranking third in the league. But here's the stat that should set off alarms. Out of 30 flagrant fouls called across the entire WNBA this year, 5 have been against Clark. That's nearly 17% of all flagrant fouls directed at a single player out of 144 in the league. And it gets worse, 80% of those came from the Chicago Sky. 4 out of 5. The most infuriating part. Clark has been forced to confront officials herself just to demand basic protection. Cameras even caught her threatening to call the league office about referee Michael Price. And honestly, who could blame her? When you're being poked in the eye, shoved to the floor after dead balls, and body checked like you're in the NHL while refs wave it off as normal contact. It's not just bad officiating, it's negligence.
It's fostered a hostile workplace for Caitlin Clark through excessive fouling, targeting, and hostile comments from other players and owners. These aren't isolated, they're documented, continuing, and ignored by officials. The disparity in treatment invites real scrutiny. Not a single player has been suspended for flagrantly fouling Ms. Clark. Here's where he said a federal investigation should take place. Congress and the admin should demand answers from the W, its leaders, investigate officiating and internal league comms, hold hearings, and insist on real reforms. The Labor Department should review league protocols for workplace safety. If evidence shows discrimination or retaliation, the DOJ's Civil Rights Division must